James Gunn has brought key practice from Marvel Studios into the DC, which yielded the success of Creature Commandos. Welcome to Stats In. If you're just joining us, please subscribe and don't forget to turn on notifications bell for more video. James Gunn, being at the head of DC Studios, seemed to have brought some Marvel magic over to the other side of the aisle. While Gunn is looking to get the new and improved DCU off the ground, it seems the playbook that he will be following is what the MCU has had in place for quite some time. While there is a lot of healthy anticipation for what Superman might usher in for the franchise, Creature Commandos has actually served as a great tastemaker for what the studio is going to have to offer. Gunn revealed that during the production of Creature Commandos, the experiences he had at Marvel were immensely valuable. James Gunn was one of the most successful directors when it came to the MCU. With the Guardians of the Galaxy trilogy under his belt, the director has raked in a lot of money for the MCU and even maintained a decent Rotten Tomatoes score across his trilogy. Gunn attributes his ability to deliver the films that he did under Marvel Studios to the model of communication that Marvel had going, something he has since brought over to the DCU. Speaking with The Hollywood Reporter, he said, "Honestly, working directly was something good that I got from Marvel. There was a very clear back and forth with Marvel, and while there was sometimes arguing in the best of ways, it always led to something different. It wasn't like people were taking sides. The politics of it was gone, and that's the way that we did Creature Commandos. It was me working together with Dean to create the best thing, and none of us had egos." July is going to see Superman head into the theaters, officially kicking off the DCU, facing off against Marvel, which will be releasing the Fantastic Four, first steps in the same month. The consensus is very much that, unlike the case with the DCU, this time the MCU is on the back foot, with the DCU heading towards a much-anticipated film. However, there is also the looming threat of the fact that if Superman does fail, WB is going to lose its standing in the industry, which is already on thin ice after it fumbled the DC Universe and the Wizarding World. Imagining the Guardians of the Galaxy franchise without James Gunn might not be something that sits well with a lot of fans, but given that there are some credible rumors that the MCU is headed to space after Secret Wars, it stands to reason that Marvel might want to revisit the Guardians of the Galaxy again. The team, as it currently stands, is radically different from the initial roster, with characters like Adam Warlock among the ranks, being led by Rocket Raccoon. This team could make an appearance in Secret Wars, but that seems to be more of an Earth-based event than anything else. It is unlikely that the MCU will involve the cosmic characters in its Avengers lineup, except for maybe Peter Quill and Captain Marvel. However, once Marvel Cosmic gets going post-Secret Wars, it would make sense to have the MCU revisit the team in another feature-length film, perhaps with a renewed team in the post-Secret Wars reality. With Creature Commandos, the DCU has finally begun, and James Gunn finally gets to prove why letting go of Henry Cavill was worth it. Welcome to Stats In. If you're just joining us, please subscribe and don't forget to turn on notifications bell for more video. James Gunn's rebooted and fresh DCU has begun with the release of the Max series Creature Commandos. True to Gunn's style, the animated series focuses on a few lesser-known characters from the DC Comics roster and gives a Suicide Squad-esque mission for a bunch of oddballs to go on before DC's biggest superhero makes an appearance. Gunn took over from the fumbling DCU in late 2023 and announced his plan for the revamped universe, which is finally seeing the light. The filmmaker has also directed the upcoming Superman film and the second season of Peacemaker, which will jumpstart the DCU. However, there are a few concerns regarding the reboot. While James Gunn has delivered some truly great superhero content in the last 10 years, beginning with the MCU's Guardians of the Galaxy, he has never tackled a Tier 1 superhero till now. The DC Studios co-chief has directed the Suicide Squad and Peacemaker, both of which had the freedom to get the Gunn treatment. However, his first DCU project as a director will be none other than Kal-El himself in Superman. The 2025 film will see Gunn tackle the one who started it all with new hero David Corenswet and a host of other characters like Lois Lane, Lex Luthor, Guy Gardner, and more. Despite being the DCU's first film, Gunn has maintained that this is not an origin story. Not only has Gunn never tackled a huge hero like Superman, but the character itself can be too morally black and white for him to be relevant to this era. The filmmaker has the momentous task of delivering a Superman who stays true to his ideals and is appealing to a whole new generation of fans. Image Comics writer Todd McFarlane stressed the importance of getting Superman right in an interview with Screen Rant. He said, "How do you take a character that's been around so long that not only does your mom know about it, but your grandparents know about it, and make a character that your grandparents used to know relevant today? That's hard because there's a stigma of like, that's mom and dad stuff. We've got cool hip stuff over here. How do you make Mickey Mouse relevant to kids today when you have Buzz Lightyear? It is also the type of character where James Gunn's brand of humor might be tough to pull off. Gunn has already tackled a Superman-esque character as a producer on Brightburn, but this is more cookie clutter than any of those films. This one created superheroes, and it is as formulaic as it gets. The DCU had Henry Cavill as Superman, but despite announcing that he would return, James Gunn's insistence on the DCU focusing on a younger Superman led to him exiting the franchise. This move angered many fans as Cavill never really got a chance to shine as the caped Kryptonian, with only Man of Steel being a full-fledged role. Gunn instead chose to go with David Corenswet, an up-and-coming star whose best-known role to date is his appearance in Netflix's Hollywood. The casting was controversial for many reasons, but many fans pointed out his physical similarity with Cavill, leading many to question the decision. Superman is also not an origin story, so was there really a need for a younger Superman? The Peacemaker director really has a tough task up his sleeve, as the casting will be seen through the lens of having to let Henry Cavill go. Corenswet not only has the pressure of playing one of the most popular characters in the world, but also has to live up to his predecessor's performance, which many have grown to like now. James Gunn has maintained that Corenswet has delivered an exceptional performance. While promoting Creature Commandos, Gunn reiterated his statement as he reportedly test-screened the film, which is still in post-production. He said to THR, "Honestly, from the bottom of my heart, David Corenswet is going to freak everyone out with how great he is. He is one of the best actors I've ever worked with, and he can do everything. The man is incredible. One can only hope that the freaking out is positive." Gunn is yet to cast a Batman for the DCU, though a Brave and the Bold film has been announced as part of the slate for the DCU's first chapter, Gods and Monsters. Okay, the Snyderverse was not perfect, but it HS its fans. Zack Snyder's dark and biblical take on superheroes, starting with Man of Steel and going along with Batman v Superman, Dawn of Justice and Zack Snyder's Justice League, may be a bold take on the genre, but it was not the billion-dollar pumping MCU formula that WB needed at the time. A whole lot of meddling from the studio and some truly horrendous box office bombs later, looking at you The Flash, the DCU was silently sent to play on the farm, and James Gunn came with his 10-year plan for the new and improved DCU. However, there are still remnants of the past, with actors like Viola Davis and John Cena still continuing. Despite DC's saturated gallery of heroes and villains, Arrowverse contains a unique roster of characters that James Gunn would be foolish to ignore. Welcome to Stats In. If you're just joining us, please subscribe and don't forget to turn on notifications bell for more video. The DCU is going through a considerable shift in its overarching structure. With James Gunn at the helm, the filmmaker who can make even the strangest and weirdest